Yes, hello
Hello.
everyone.
Hello. Hello. Where are you guys from? Whoever's coming in, type it in the chat. Where are you coming in from?
Yes, let us know.
Myrtle Beach. All right. Christina Lake. Oh, BC. Oh, nice.
Yes.
I'm gonna put mine in. I'm in
Hello, Ankit.
Hi,
Hello.
hi, Diane. Hi,
Minnesota.
nice to meet you.
Hey, Keith, how are you?
Doing good. How are you
Good.
doing, Diane? Diane. I hope I'm saying your name
Yes.
properly before we begin.
Yes. Is it Ankit or
Yeah.
Ankit or
Ankit.
Kit?
Ankit. It's fine.
Ankit.
Yeah.
Ankit.
Yeah.
Ankit.
Yeah.
Nice to
And
meet
it
you.
and it's Diane, right?
Yes, Diane.
Awesome. Pleasure.
Yes, thank you. My friends call me Di, so that works.
All right.
That's really cute.
Awesome.
All right. So we got Myrtle Beach, we got Christina Lake, BC, we got Minnesota. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. Where else?
We're
Perfect.
from India.
I'm
So,
calling from the coast in Mumbai. Yeah.
Okay.
yes, I'm from like the very south of it. I'm from Chennai. So,
Um,
Nice, nice. I gotta make it out there. I went to the Philippines for the first time this year, but I haven't gotten to India yet. So
that's
thank you.
awesome. That's awesome. No, let us know when you get here. I
we have
think,
some team in Rajasthan.
Oh,
yes, that's crazy. That's good to know.
my wife is
Yeah.
from Rajasthan. So
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah, Jaipur. So
Okay. I think that's where normal is, I think.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. So right then
Awesome.
on the dot 9 a.m. we can get started with the webinar. So we can go, we can hit the live stream.
Yeah. Yep. All right. It's preparing
All
to live
right.
stream.
We are live.
Are we
Hello, everyone.
live?
Yes, we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Really glad you could join us today for this session from Zero to 100, the new recruiting agency growth blueprint. I'm Latiba, content manager at Recruit CRM, and I'll be hosting and moderating today's session. Quick check in before we get started. Can everyone hear and see me and all of our speakers clearly as well? Give us a quick thumbs up or a yes in the chat so we know. I'll give you guys a few seconds to just drop it. Ta-ta-ta. Yes, they can hear us clearly.
Woo!
Thank you so
Thanks,
much for letting
Sean.
us know. And if you didn't already let us know while you're there, do let us know where you're joining from. We'd love to see how far we're reaching today. As we already saw, we're from all over the world right now, so that's really interesting. And before we begin, a couple of housekeeping notes. We will have time for live questions at the end. We have 15 minutes dedicated just for that. But feel free to drop in your questions anytime during the session. You can make use of the Q&A section on Zoom. You can use the chat. If you're joining us from LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, drop in questions there as well. We'll be keeping an eye there and we'll be picking those up as well. And if you're attending us live, stay till the end because we have an exciting giveaway in store just for you. All right, now it's time for the introductions. This webinar is powered by Recruit CRM. We are an 80s plus CRM built specifically for recruitment agencies and used by teams across 100 plus countries. The goal we have is simple: help recruiters spend less time on admin and more time actually growing their business. Right? And now finally, it's time for us to welcome our speaker for the day. Joining us today is Diane Prince. Diane has founded, scaled, and exited multiple staffing agencies, including one that sold to a public company for $28 million. Today, she helps agency owners scale through coaching, proven systems, and offshore talent support via her Kaya virtual assistant and integrator service. She's known for being a straight talking coach and keynote speaker with a very practical, no nonsense take on what actually grows a modern agency. Dan, we're really excited to have you here today. Over to you.
Thanks, Latifa. Great to be here. Okay, everybody, don't be quiet. Tell us where you're from and also why you're here. Like what is one reason that brought you here today? Thank you, Recruit CRM. I love our partnership. Thanks for hosting this. You guys, I charge a lot of money typically for these talks. Staffing associations pay me to do these as keynote talks. And my goal is to give you an actionable takeaway. You're going to hear things that you haven't heard other places. So get ready, get excited. I want you guys at the end of this to have one thing that you're just cannot wait to execute in your agency. So okay, Maggie's got an agency, need to know how to get this off the ground. Yes, making money. Woohoo! Love that. Um, yeah, I'm big on making money. That's always the first thing when people ask me, I'm starting an agency, what like just don't get your LLC yet. Don't do all this to just make some money, get a customer. So and I'm want to hear from you guys in the chat, like what are some things that and just any questions, just put them in the chat. Okay. So I built my first staffing agency. I had zero experience. I wanted to build something that I could exit. I don't know why that was in my mind. It was 30 years ago. And I built it in 6 years and sold it for $28 million to a public company. We had about seven to 800 temps working at any given time. And the course I've done some direct recruiting too. I want to hear in the chat who does what is your business model? Who is it? Is it direct hire, staffing, something else? Do you do RPO? What do you do? So I work with staffing agencies all over the world, and I really geek out on there's two main things we're going to talk about today. And one is how things have changed so much. Like we all need to be marketers, but how do you do it? How do you, and I'm going to share with you the exact method that I've used to get inbound leads. Mostly on LinkedIn, do some other things too, but I'm going to tell you how I do it, how I create content without having to figure out what to write about. Has anybody ever said to themselves, I know I need to post on LinkedIn, but I just don't know what to say? I used to be like that. So I go to sleep at night thinking like, oh gosh, I should have posted today. I know I should have, and then I'd be like, okay, I'm going to post every day. And then it was like about 3 days later, I'm like, I don't know what to do until I adapted the method that I'm going to teach you. And it's going to change your life.
We do
Okay.
have a few really strong S's coming in the chat for that question.
I see the yeses. Yes, yes. I love it. Love it. And just looking, okay, so staffing, great. Doing a lot of stuff manually. Okay. And oh, good. You've started using Recruit CRM. And I am big on taking the admin out of your day. I'm on a mission to make entrepreneurship easier for anyone who wants to run a business. And helping entrepreneurs to stay in your own unique ability. Okay, can anyone relate to doing too much admin stuff? Anybody doing too much admin stuff and feeling like you're in the weeds? You can't see it, but my on my wall it says busy is not a growth strategy. So I am into doing this the easy way. Okay, so agencies used to grow like we used to not need we made phone calls, we dropped off donuts, we worked with like to grow an agency, it was more recruiters, more hours. Okay. Things are a lot different these days. Agencies now, we all have to be marketers. Agencies grow now by better visibility and better leverage. It's a lot noisier out there. Okay. When I first started, we had the yellow pages. Does anyone even know what the yellow pages are? Okay. We like actually had a phone book. And that's how you found people. That's how you would find a recruiting agency. You'd look in the phone book. Okay. So today we are all marketers. We have to have, but not only do we have to have visibility, we have to have it in the right way. And the good news is too, because of global talent, we can build agencies and we can compete with the multinationals. One person, when using the right systems and the right partners, can compete with multinationals now, which is so exciting to me. Okay. So let me ask a question. anyone who's been in the business for more than like 3 years, what do you think? What has become harder? What has become harder for you? What is harder in your business over the last year, 2 years, 3 years? No replies from emails. Okay. That's gotten really, really saturated, huh? Sending out emails, manual tasks, lots of admin stuff, things that are taking up time. So I work with a lot sourcing the right candidates. Yes. Finding the decision maker. Okay, these are great. Attracting the right people. Okay. So I work with a lot of recruiting agency owners, and before we dig into the juicy stuff, one difference in people that I work with are the people that listen and execute on new information. And there's also people who come and want to keep doing it their way, even if their way isn't working. So I just want to bring that up and encourage you to come open-minded that there are different things that you can try. So we're going to talk about visibility first and content. And I'm going to tell you exactly, I'll just tell you exactly my LinkedIn strategy and how I did it. Okay. So, and feel free interrupt and Latiba, tell me if there's questions and I need to interrupt. Okay. So,
Yes, I will. Yeah.
all right. So, and is this recorded? Do they need to take notes or like,
Yes, so this call is recorded. They will have a recording to watch after the event is over as well.
okay. All right, cool. Okay. So we're going to talk about content first. We're going to talk about visibility and how to be visible in the right way. So why does copy not work? Does anyone have any ideas? Why does sales copy? Why are recruiters on LinkedIn? They might even have 50,000 followers, but they're not getting any leads from it. Any ideas why it's not working?
Possibly because I'm just, guessing here, they haven't built the credibility yet with their content. Could be one of the reasons.
No credibility with their content. Okay. No follow up, no value. Okay. So I'm going to make it really easy. We call it customer copy code. So all I do on LinkedIn, and when I started doing this, everything changed. I used to see myself just as a salesperson. I couldn't really relate to marketing. I did a mean cold email. I got sales pretty easily from cold emails. I love networking, but I decided, okay, I'm going to really try this marketing thing and get and see if I can get incoming leads. We get for my staffing agency, which Latiba mentioned is Offshore Staffing, we get 1 to 5 incoming leads every single day using this. The key is to show that you understand your ideal client. That's it. That's it. Okay. If you're familiar with an ICP, that's your ideal client profile. All you need to do is to show them that you understand their problems. When people see you as someone who understands their problems, they see you as someone who can solve them. This one piece of information, this one tip can change your life. It changed mine. So, what I did at first is I got really clear on my ICP. Who is my ideal client profile? And then I had to learn what they were saying, what is in their mind. Okay, so I'm going to use the example of recruiting agencies, right? So I place people in recruiting and staffing agencies. And what I first did is I used AI, I used ChatGPT at first, and I said, what are 30 things that keep staffing agency owners up at night? Okay. Now for you, it's probably not, unless you're doing rec to rec, recruiter to recruiter placements, it's not going to be staffing agency owners or recruiting agency owners. That is going back to why copy doesn't work, because most recruiters are talking to other recruiters on LinkedIn. I've spoken to people who have over 100,000 followers on LinkedIn. I always ask them, are you getting incoming leads? The answer is usually no, because it is not that hard to be a recruiter on LinkedIn and get a ton of followers. If you are not, if you are not in need, strongly in need of candidates or in need of other recruiters, do not, that is a mistake. You only need to talk to your ideal client. That's it. That's it. That's the only person you're going to talk to and engage with, by the way. Okay? So have the discipline to show that you understand. And here's how you can do it. So first, you can ask ChatGPT. If anyone wants to share who their ICP is in the comments, that would be really helpful. Let's say give me an example. Anybody have an ICP they want to share? Who's your client? Who do you service? Startups and tech. Okay, let's start with that. Let's start with startups and tech. And Charmin, is it like a founder? So let's say founders of startup and tech. Okay, so what I would do here is I want to find out, not only do I want to find out what founders of tech startups stress out about, specifically, it could be around hiring, could be around team building. And how do I make them feel like I am crawling in their brain? So what I did at first is I asked ChatGPT, what are 30 things and I made 90 posts. I sat down, I blocked out a couple hours of time, and I just wrote posts exactly showing that I understood my ideal client. You know what happened after that? We scheduled out the posts. And what happened after that is people started messaging me questions. People started saying to me, I feel like you've read my mind. And I will use some of my most engaged upon posts now are just questions that people sent me. Other places to find this customer copy code, you don't find it in public. You don't find it on LinkedIn. People are not sharing their problems on LinkedIn. They're sharing how great they are. You want to go to where they're sharing in private and where they're willing to share what their problems are. Reddit's also a great place because Reddit's anonymous. So like if you're working with, let's see, Jason, I'm saying ideal client would be, if it's food and beverage manufacturer, it would be the specific person. Okay. So it could be like the manager, it could be the factory manager, whatever you call them, of meat manufacturers, something like that, like some is as specific as you can be. And there's Reddit threads on everything. And there's also, like, when I was doing tech recruiting, which I had never done tech recruiting, it was 2019, and I was working with a tech recruiting company. And I found out that I was in Los Angeles. I found out that there was a Slack group for CTOs in Los Angeles. I figured out how to get into that Slack group. Okay, so you want to go into these places where people are talking to each other. Your ideal clients are talking to each other. And another thing that I do, besides posting on LinkedIn, is when you can get into those groups, you want to be the person to answer their questions. So another thing I did was I got into a group of women in tech. And all I did was anytime someone posted a question, a tech founder posted a question, I answered the question. I answered their question. Okay. Then their questions can also be used for content in other places. All right. And I have YouTube videos on this too. And you can always message me on LinkedIn. And I think Latiba is going to put my LinkedIn in the chat. You can always ask me. Like, I know we don't have that much time here together, but that's a great way to look in groups, answer their questions. Say you're doing product people. Anyway, there's a Slack group called, it's Lenny's something group, and there's a bunch of product people in there. So if I were doing product, if I were doing that kind of placement, I would go in there and I would answer questions and be reliable and show up and answer questions. That is how you get incoming leads. That is how you create copy that is going to get people to see you as an authority and to want to work with you. Okay, any questions on this?
I have dropped your LinkedIn profile in the chat, so if anyone wants to reach out to you after, they can do that as well.
Great. Okay. And things work together, right? So you want to build up your presence, LinkedIn, probably, if your ideal clients are not on LinkedIn, that's not where you want to be. So you have to find out where your ideal clients are. Now I'll use, yes, private groups, LinkedIn, Facebook. You'll also use another great place where I find copy is in my Calendly. So, and my team does all my scheduling, and we have a whole system called Customer Copy Code on our Slack. So people will book a call on Calendly with Kaya. Kaya is my virtual assistant agency. So people will book a call with Kaya and we ask a few questions. I'm sure you ask a few questions on your Calendly. That's copy. We ask people what they want, what they need. Like what are their problems? What problems are they looking to us to solve? We use that for copy. You're seeing what they need. Your customers are telling you exactly what they need. So make sure to listen. Most people sit down and they look and they sit at their computer and they think they want to talk about like, oh, hey, I have this job available, or hey, this is what I think. Nobody cares. Honestly, nobody cares what you think about the market. Nobody cares. They want to know. People sit down and they want to be like this thought leader and they think that I have to have an opinion about this. No, people care that you're going to be able to solve their problems. That's why MPCs work. That's why most placeable candidate campaigns work, because you're actually going to them with a solution to their problem. Okay. And okay, so Richard's asking, how would you approach the healthcare field for direct hiring, small doctors' offices? That's exactly what I would do. Start by asking ChatGPT, and whoever it is that you work with, it could be maybe if it's the office manager, what are their problems? Find out who is the person that you contact there and what are their problems. And if they're not on LinkedIn, then you can do newsletters, you can do text messages, but you want to find out. That's the basic thing. Figure out where they're hanging out. It could be trade associations. You want to find out where they're hanging out and what their worries are. What are their problems? And how can you help them to solve their problems? Okay? And remember this too. People, it doesn't work with one post. Okay? It's consistency. You've got to be consistent. We'll have clients say, "Hey, it didn't work." They made one post and they'll say, "Hey, it didn't work." This takes time and it takes consistency. But the more that you can get specific on what your clients are asking about, specific on that problem, it gets a lot faster. It really happened quickly to me. And the other thing that I noticed is that pretty quickly, my follower requests, my connection requests, my profile viewers became my ideal clients pretty quickly when I started using this strategy. That happened pretty quickly. Another thing that we do on LinkedIn is, I'm sure most people here have a paid LinkedIn account, right? And if you don't have Recruiter, if you can't afford Recruiter, then Sales Navigator works really well. So, and I use my team. So my team does all of this stuff for me so that I stay in my unique ability. I do not do admin. I don't have, can anybody relate to not being able to nurture all your leads? You get busy, you get a role that you're working on. What happens when you get a role? It's the closest to money, right? But then meanwhile, there's all these leads and there's a pipeline that's not being built. And you're busy working your leads, you're busy filling these roles and recruiting. And then meanwhile, you filled the role, or maybe that falls through, and then you don't have a pipeline because you haven't had the time. Sales cannot be done only if the founder has time. Sales need to be consistent. I have gotten a client on the 23rd message. I have a friend in Belgium who has Gavin Johnston, if anybody knows him. I love his story. He got one client on the 123rd phone call. So it takes consistency. Here's some things that some easy little tricks that my team does that really convert well. Because I have a sales support virtual assistant in the Philippines, and his main role is nurturing leads. And what I mean by that is our leads never, if anybody messages us a question, that we have a chat with them, they do not go untouched until they say yes, no, or stop bugging me. And usually what happens is, like that client I got on the 23rd email, thank you for being so persistent. Thank you for not dropping it. Because you know what happens, and you don't want this to happen, where somebody's, hey, I know that, like Jason, you talked to somebody 7 months ago. The last thing you want to do, the last thing you want to happen is, hey, I can't remember, I know I really need a recruiter right now. I can't remember who I talked to. I know he specialized in food and beverage. I just can't remember who he was. So I'm gonna Google and find someone else. Stay on people's radars. The way that I do it is one of my virtual assistants does it, and one of the other things that we do is we look at our profile viewers every single day. So we also we check our connection requests, see if they are an ideal client. If not, they can follow us, but we do not accept their connection request because this is valuable real estate, right? And we also look at profile viewers. This converts like crazy. Okay. And you'll get, if you look at my LinkedIn profile, you guys are pretty much all my ICPs. So you'll be getting this message from my team. So beware, you're going to be in our loop. So you'll get a message that says, hey, I noticed you viewed my profile. So I have one person on my team who checks to see who views our profile. They view my profile and they're an ICP. They get this question. Hey, I noticed you viewed my profile. Do you need help with anything? Or are you just curious? If you think about it, it's like, think about walking in a store. Has anybody ever walked in a shop and the salesperson might say hi to you, but then they kind of ignore you? Sometimes they don't even say hi to you. They're like chatting with the other salesperson. Or like you buy something, like you buy some pants and you probably would have gotten the belt if they asked you if you wanted the belt, but they're kind of like aloof. That's what it's like when somebody's viewing your profile and you don't acknowledge them. Okay? Someone is viewing your profile, they're walking into your shop. Say hi to them. Okay, but only if they're an ideal profile, only if they're your ideal client. Otherwise, or if, there's somebody, I don't know, an ex you want to be in touch with, that happens, right? So yeah, and I mean, even just try that and that converts like crazy. So we also nurture all leads. We make sure that leads are consistently nurtured. Do not be afraid of being annoying. Okay. I have one post on my LinkedIn that is like one person basically telling me to go away, and same exact message that I sent, somebody was like, this is perfect timing. And the language was not as nice as go away, but you can look on my LinkedIn. I'm not gonna do that on a Recruit CRM webinar.
We do have one question coming in from Richard. He's asking, your advice has been great. How would you attack getting a following on, let's say, Facebook, Instagram, etc. when starting out?
Yeah, we're actually doing that on Instagram right now, where Kaya is our virtual assistant agency. Kaya.ph is our Instagram, and where it's brand new because we just rebranded. And so I mean, I'm mostly talking about LinkedIn. My expertise, like what's worked for me best, is on LinkedIn. And we are experimenting with paid ads. So I don't know. I'm just going to tell you like flat out, I don't know that much about paid ads. But I would say like what worked for me is just that consistency with content and engaging with other people. I mean, for our Instagram right now, we're like, we only have we have like 170 followers and we're trying to get to 200 so that we get put into other people's algorithms. This morning, I went around my office. I'm in a co-working space. I went around the office with my phone and said, "Hey, do me a favor. I need, so, and I'm asking everybody I know." So that's one way, I mean, that's what I'm doing. I mean, it's like, guerrilla marketing there. But I ask, okay, people, one of the most common things that I hear is people are afraid of being annoying. Think about it this way. You're a founder, probably if you're here, or a salesperson or a recruiter. That's you're expected to be hustling and reaching out. Look at anybody you admire and hear their story. And I would bet that their story has hustle to it. They did not take no for an answer and they were persistent. And that's one thing I hear a lot is people are afraid or they're afraid of being annoying. Okay, Richard, I hope that was helpful in answering your question. But consistency is really important. And the same thing, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram, it's the same thing in make sure they see that you understand them. Okay? Share content where they're going to see, "Oh my gosh, he read my mind. He read my mind. I can't believe he said that. That's just what I was thinking." They're not going to know. Oh, another great place to look is your prospects, the LinkedIn recommendations that they've given, because they're talking about employees. They're talking about people who worked for them in their exact words. So I use that with MPCs. I'll look at my ideal client profile, the like hiring managers. What have they said about people who worked for them? I'm going to use their words. I know what's important to them.
We do have a few questions coming in. Jason is asking, he's afraid to have people mark his emails as spam if reaching out too much, and he wants to know your thoughts around that one.
Yeah. Good. Yes. You need to use what I do, what people usually use something. And I don't know if Recruit CRM does. Do you guys have email warm-ups in your in Recruit CRM? Do you have that capability?
We do make sure that when you are sending a batch email from Recruit CRM, we segregate that and send that in batches so that we make sure that your email authority is not compromised. It does not land up in spam. So we
Yeah.
take care of that on the back end to make sure that you can still scale up your outreach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's technology can help with that. And then there's also technology to warm up your emails. You can you can have an extra domain. A lot of people will set up multiple domains and they're using that. So it could be like similar to your email, but it's not your exact email so that you're not marked as spam. So there's technology that helps with that. I'll bring on VAs who do that. Like there's virtual assistants even like through Fiverr who can do that and help you set that up. Those are my thoughts on that. Okay, yep, use an email validator. Um, okay. Any other questions to address?
Yes, Sean is asking, in a commission-based opportunity with naturally high attrition, is it better to increase applicant volume or become more selective earlier in the process?
I don't even know how to answer that question. I'm trying to understand that question fully. In a commission-based opportunity with naturally high, are you saying that Sean, can you clarify that? Like, are you saying that the role you're hiring for is commission-based? Okay, we'll get back to that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about contract staffing now. Okay, I'm going to shift. So we talked about content. You also, and this might kind of come to help you a little bit, Sean, and related to your question. Um, I I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I personally think the commission-based opportunities that's are a little bit are tricky to recruit for. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know like that specific niche or anything, so I'm not sure that I'm the best person to answer that question. What I would say is that I see a lot of people who start agencies and think that direct hire is simpler or easier. Okay. when I started when I got into this business, and I got into it very intentionally, I did not fall into recruiting. I did not fall into staffing. I wanted to build a business that I could scale and exit, thought of a bunch of different kinds of businesses, and staffing was a natural decision because staffing is a business that you can build and actually have recurring income. The more people you place, the more recurring revenue you have, and there's a market for that. There's an M&A market where you can sell it. I was just talking to a business broker in my co-working space yesterday who was saying, yeah, he had a recruiter, a direct hire recruiter who wanted to sell our business, but it was just her. It was her and all the relationships. So contract staffing changes everything. And this is a hill that I will die on. Okay. So I was just reading Jason's comment. Yes. Okay. So contract and I work with clients on showing them how to add contract staffing if they are already direct hire. Okay. So some things that people don't know. And Latiba, if you could drop in the chat that staffing playbook,
Yeah.
because I really I nerd out on helping people learn how to do contract staffing because one of the things people think some common misconceptions is that it's too difficult to get to fund your payroll. It's a lot easier than you think. There are businesses out there called employers of record that will do that for you. They will do all of your back office. This is something that I didn't even know. So I built that company that I sold for $28 million and we did all of the back office. It was super complicated and confusing. But now with global talent available, with everything the way that the world is, you can have like one person with few people offshore, an employer of record, you can be billing millions of dollars in contract staffing. Okay. So I'm not going to get into all the details of it, but I would just say download that contract staffing playbook if you are at all interested, or if you're doing temp and you're doing things yourself, if you just have like a couple of roles, you want that recurring revenue. That is going to not only, and you might say, well, not only are you building your business as an asset that you could exit eventually, even if you don't want to exit, by building contract staffing, that's like self-care for your business. Because then you know that you're going to have, you know what to expect, you know you have this recurring revenue, and it's total game changer. Okay, and I know we're going to talk about systems now. Okay, I don't know if we have time for all the questions, but we're going to do questions at the end too, right, Latiba?
Yes, we do have a separate Q&A session at the end, so no worries.
Okay, all right. So I think that most founders can relate to the founder bottleneck, right? It's like we talked about earlier, founders who, if you're doing the recruiting, you're doing the sales, then you've got roles to fill, things fall off. You're scheduling. I have one coaching client who I just started working with he's doing $7 million and he hasn't been able to break through that. He's been doing it for a long time. He is doing his own scheduling. Okay, that's crazy, right? I don't do any scheduling. I don't do any calendaring. I am really strict in staying in my own unique ability. And I am guessing that if you are on this call, your own unique ability is probably not scheduling interviews. There are people who like to do that kind of work. There are people around the world whose lives change by having remote work where they can do this and they can be there for their kids. Okay. So if these things are not in your unique ability, do not do them. Okay. So systematize, delegate. So first you want to look at what are some of the things that you've been doing this, like if you list out like 8 tasks that you've done this in the past week. Okay. Anything, what are you doing that if you stop doing it, it would not make a difference? No one would notice. Okay. Those just scratch them off. Don't do them. Okay. Anything else, look at delegating or systematizing. And now I know that people from Recruit CRM are going to talk a little bit about this, about how to best systemize. Like, what are ways that you guys recommend? I'm going to let you guys take it away for a little bit and how to become less of a founder bottleneck by systematizing using Recruit CRM or an ATS.
Absolutely. So I can quickly jump in and kind of show you some of the features that contract staffing companies are using to Recruit CRM. So a quick introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Ankit. So let me share my screen and sort of give you a quick glimpse of that. So right from a sourcing standpoint, once you are inside Recruit CRM, say if you have to look for someone outside your database because maybe you don't have the right candidate today inside your system, we have something called AI sourcing, where you can actually just put in a natural language query and then look for people outside your database on the internet based on your description. And then we can help you find people on LinkedIn who match the description. And then you can simply add them to your system. And then we can help you find their email, phone numbers so that you can reach out to them and take the next step. Now, of course, as you grow your database, you want to leverage that as well. So even for that, we have something called AI matching, where you can scan your database, compare that to a job description, and get a quick list of shortlisted candidates along with an analysis. So you also know exactly why they can be a good fit, and you can make an informed decision, helping you save tons of time in trying to find the right person inside your own system, right? Now, what we have also recently introduced is a timesheet management capability in our system so that you can also manage your timesheets and kind of have candidates clock in the time and kind of create invoices out of it from the system itself so that you can not only create timesheets, you can personalize it for every job where you have the option to, of course, have pay rate, bill rate, but also expense claim management. You can create custom rule engine depending on the type of contract job that you are working on, and accordingly customize it. And then, of course, the candidate can quickly get access to a portal where they can punch in the time and all of that. Then the client, of course, gets that in the client portal so they can approve it. And then within Recruit CRM, you have access to this space where you can access all your contractors in one place. You have a view of who has been assigned, who has been approved, and you can also look at all the timesheets which have been added inside your system. So the benefit of this is not only that you can track all of this, you can also select an invoice, push that, select a timesheet, create an invoice out of it, and then share that with your customers, all inside Recruit CRM. So that is the goal, to help you scale all in one system. And if you are using anything outside Recruit CRM, we have something called workflow automation that can basically help you create custom automations with any tool that has an API. And you can basically connect us to tools like Velocity, Sage, QuickBooks. As long as it has an API, we can help you integrate that with Recruit CRM with a seamless automation. And we actually give you a consultant to help you do that. So you don't have to manually start from scratch and reinvent the wheel on that front. We can take that heavy lifting for you to help you out. And we actually run sessions on this every week for our customers at no cost. So this is a quick snapshot, of course. If you want to learn more, happy to kind of take it from there. But yeah, just a quick glimpse.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Ankit. We do have, if like Ankit mentioned, if you want to see these features, up close, or if you want to see how it exactly fix your workflow, you can book a free demo with us, or you can also sign up and try out the features yourself. We have dropped both the links in the chat right now, so grab whichever one you need. So yeah, back to you, Diane.
I have a quick question for you guys, because one thing I see a lot of, well, there's a couple of things. One, like people that start their own agency and they've come from like a bigger agency, like they just go with like whatever like big expensive CRM they've had, because they don't realize that there's startup options. And then another common thing that I see is they'll use HR ATS, like Greenhouse or Lever or something, instead of, you could just tell, like, what's the difference between an ATS for staffing and recruiting versus an ATS for in-house talent?
So an ATS for in-house talent basically just geared towards helping you find candidates and kind of source it and maintain a database out of it. But when it comes to an ATS for agencies, we basically go help you manage your entire recruitment lifecycle, right? From sourcing, managing that relationship. So when in staffing agencies, you become more relationship driven in terms of helping managing your client expectations, sharing that with your customers. So an ATS CRM for staffing agencies is designed to help you manage those relationships with clients and candidates at ease in our system. And of course, we complement that with good customer service as well, because a software is only as good as the service. So in terms of helping you really get the most out of the system. So that would be the key thing in terms of how you can leverage relationships, because a regular ATS for like Greenhouse is just a database of storing candidates and nothing much beyond that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I see that mistake really often. So thank you. And guys, like going back to when you're using these tools, when you're systematizing and delegating, the most important thing is to stay in your, I've already said, like unique ability, because another trap that I see, and I've fallen into this too, is people hiring and then micromanaging. My formula is hire the best people you can, spend time with them. Often I see founders underestimating their importance to the team. When your role shifts to true founder, you need to evolve with your business. I see a lot of businesses evolving and growing, but the founder not evolving with the business. And what I mean by that is when you evolve, the way to evolve is to hire the best people you can, train them. And this is one step that I see over and over again where people make mistakes. They just throw people in without the training. And I know you're busy. I know it's easier if you do it, just do it yourself. Spend that time. Look at 90-day chunks of time. If you have the right people, this will pay off. And if you don't have the right people, you have to let them go. Let your people make decisions. Don't just delegate tasks that you are managing. Delegate strategy and delegate decisions. I tell my team knows our vision. And they know that they are responsible for their parts. They know what parts they're responsible for, and they need to make decisions. And the way to teach them to make decisions is to not answer every question. Put it back on them, because you want to empower, not enable. And I know whoever is on this call, you're better at what you do than anybody else. So for me, an example with my team, like sometimes they've said things that I'm like, oh, I would never said it that way. And then they get the client. And look, like if we've lost one client because someone who wasn't fully up to speed, if we lost 5 clients because somebody messed up or whatever, look, I mess up all the time, right? And we've gained 40 clients because somebody was there to nurture and somebody was there to do it. Okay. So if you need, if you need to structure, you need systems. And also I use people to put in my systems because I'm terrible at that. Like I'm not super organized. My main thing is networking. I love to do that. I love to do things like this. I love talking to people. I'm in a co-working space. I get clients just walking out into the kitchen. Today's Waffle Wednesday. Everybody's lined up and I'm going to go have a waffle afterwards. And that's how I get clients, right? And then I let my people do their thing. I let them do what they do best. And when they come to me and ask me, sometimes I say to them, look, don't ask me. Because if you ask me, I will probably have an opinion. I'll stop what I'm doing. I'll think about it. Don't just it doesn't need this does not even need to involve my opinion. Okay. Let's see. Should we go to questions?
Yes, we can move to the Q&A session right now. As you guys already know, send in all of the questions. You can ask Diane whatever's on top of your mind right now regarding your agency, whatever specific challenges you're facing right now. We'll pick them up. We do actually have quite a few questions in the chat, right? We have one question coming in from Maggie. She's asking, what's the best strategy for outreach for temporary/contract? What is the best strategy to get an ideal client to give us an opportunity?
Okay. Thank you for that question, Maggie. Anyone who has a business already, the best strategy is to ask your clients, and everybody should be doing this anyway. If you have any kind of a business, recruiting, staffing, RPO, whatever it is, you want to find out, have a conversation with your client and get their entire strategy. Understand their whole hiring. What is going on in your business? What you want to know what client share you have. Because they might just see you as, okay, this is Maggie who does this one role. Okay. And if you're starting contract, say if you haven't been doing contract and you're starting contract, one mistake I see people just say, hey, by the way, I'm doing contract now. No. Hey, Susie, hiring manager, then I would like to get to know the whatever Acme business deeper. I want to know what your goals are for Q3 and Q4 of 2026 and what you're doing in 2027. I want to know what you're being measured on and what's making you successful, how I can be more of a partner to you. Everybody wants to look like a rock star. And this is like showing your clients that you understand them. Get to understand them. Okay. Sit down with them or Zoom with them if they're not, if sitting down is not, if they're not geographically near you. Find out, ask them questions. Okay. And the question is, where do you use temps? Where do you use contractors? They say, we don't. Why not? Where would that be helpful to you? So ask those questions, get a really deep understanding. It's all about understanding people. It's understanding our prospects so that we can create content that they can relate to, and it's understanding our clients. Don't be afraid. One of my recent clients, when I was doing tech recruiting, she said to me, I have never, and she said, I have never had an intake like this because I asked a bunch of questions. I asked about her. I was curious. What are your goals? Like, tell me more about this role. Like, who's doing the job now? Where else are you, what else is happening in the business? Get the whole picture and you're going to learn so much from there. And then you can decide how you can help them the best.
Yes, and we have another question coming in. So Jason is asking, where can we find more information about the marketing on LinkedIn? And I think he's referring to your LinkedIn account.
Good. Yeah. I have a YouTube channel, so I share all of that on YouTube. So, I don't, do you have the link to my YouTube, Latiba?
We can find that and drop it in the chat as well. We will be
Okay.
dropping her YouTube account link in the chat as well, so you guys can, check out her account for more on that. And well, more questions come in. I do have one question that I wanted to ask you, and we did have, some questions come in while we were promoting the event as well. My question to you is, for a founder who hates being on camera, is there a content path that still works, or is video basically mandatory right now, especially with the boom in, personal branding these days?
Yeah, I love that question. So, and I'm a person who likes to be on video, but one thing I'm doing lately is I'm doing narrations, which they're working really well because I'm like, it is a thing, like getting the lighting and all that stuff. So what I've been doing is I've been making, and my team helps me with this. So like I do voiceovers. And those have been really fun. And my team makes slide decks for them. So like I did, and I do share. There's one on a recent LinkedIn post about like part of my gnarly story after selling my business for $28 million. So check that out. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways you can do it. You can do voiceover. You can do copy. You can do. I mean, you can have a virtual assistant to put something together. There's a lot of ways that you can do it. I find too on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn tells us that video works. Video doesn't work that well for me on LinkedIn. Obviously on YouTube, video works, but I get the most engagement from just written posts on LinkedIn. One thing I also did want to say in response to Jason's question about where can you find, message me on LinkedIn. So like anything that you're looking for, just message me and my team will, they help me with my LinkedIn too. So they'll tell you like where to find that content. Also, any questions that you have because a lot of times more other people have that question, just message me. And that's a way to get free coaching from me is that I'll create content about it. So if you have a specific question, I will either direct you to a video or a post where we address that question, or I'll address it in a new video or post.
Yes, and we did drop your YouTube channel link in the chat as well. So anyone who's curious, wants to learn more, please go check out our YouTube account as well. And we have another question from one of our audience members, Miguel. I hope you got your name right. The biggest challenge is getting the opportunity to be heard. Most prospects don't even give us the chance to have a conversation or change emails. Or exchange emails, I believe. How can we change this?
Consistency. And Miguel, it's it's consistency and not being afraid to stay in touch. I treat it like I'm building a relationship. If I send someone 15 emails and they haven't replied, I send them a 16th email. I keep on sending them emails because I see it as building a relationship. So even if they're not replying, if they haven't unsubscribed or they haven't told me to go away, they're still seeing me. And I have time and time again, I've gotten people that say, "Thank you. I'm so sorry I haven't replied yet." People I haven't even, I've just, I'm just emailing them. Here's me just sending that next email. And they'll say, "I thank you so much for not giving up on me." It works. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to be there. And when you're reaching out to people consistently, think about it this way. You're showing people what it's like to work with you. You're showing people that you're consistent and that you're showing up and that you're reliable.
That's a really great answer, Diane. I really like that one. Yeah, we're waiting for more questions to come in, right? I do have another question I wanted to ask you. So, what's one thing about earlier, if you mentioned, we were talking about like, things that get harder in running a staffing agency as we go on. But what's one thing about running a staffing agency that's genuinely gotten easier in the last 5 years and not harder?
Yeah, I think with content, I think it's easier to get leads. Like business is more saturated for sure. It's a lot noisier, but I think it's easier to get if you're showing that you're listening to people. I mean, you have accessibility. Like it used to be that you'd have to hire an expensive PR agency. You can do this yourself. You can be consistent. And also the technology. There are tools that are every tool that enterprise companies use. For every one of those, there's a startup version. Okay, there's a scrappier version. There's always new tools coming out. One thing I'll see a lot of people do is immediately they'll sign up for LinkedIn Recruiter. Oh, they'll sign up for Zoom Info. There are other tools out there, so research it, join a community, talk to other recruiters, learn what's there because so that's another thing that's easier is the tools that are accessible, the systems that people can use, and then of course global talent. I mean, we have our team. We recruit specifically for roles. So we have our team in the Philippines. We also have a team in India that does sourcing. So I mean, you can get a sourcer for it's like, tiny fraction, like an entire salary, an entire year's salary is generally less than one placement. And the global people are happy for the opportunity. It's a good salary. And you can and don't be cheap. Please do not be cheap when you're when you're working with offshore talent. When you're working with offshore talent and taking that opportunity, you can pay people so well. Generally like minimum wage in your location could be 3 times as much as the market value that they generally be getting. So those are three things that the ability to be visible, software and technology is so much more accessible, and so is global talent.
Yes, thank you so much for that answer, Dan. I think that really captured the crux of most of the points that we discussed today in this event. All right, I think those are all the questions that we pick up for today as we are, nearing the closing time for our webinar. You can connect with Dan more on our LinkedIn later towards the end. We'll be dropping the links again. So if you have any more questions or you want to connect with her, you can always do so. Now, for everyone who's joined us live today, it's time for the giveaway. One lucky attendee will win a 25-minute private business coaching consultation with Diane. She'll help you work through whatever's top of mind for your agency right now. So the winner will be announced on our LinkedIn company page tomorrow at 10 a.m. PST, and you'll also be getting an email from our team, so keep an eye out for that. With that, we are at the close of today's session. Huge thank you to Diane for such a solid and practical session. And of course, thank you to all of you for joining and consistently staying engaged throughout. If you want to explore more of Recruit CRM, you can head over to recruitcrm.io. You can check out our features, case studies, and see how it fits your workflow. We're also active on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and a lot of other social media platforms. You can check those out and also stay connected with us there. You can also connect with Diane on LinkedIn or through a website and also her YouTube channel, like we mentioned earlier. All of the links will be in the chat right now, so you can grab whatever links that you need. Diane, do you have any closing remarks for the event?
Oh, it's just a pleasure. And I loved all the comments. It's, when you're doing a Zoom event, it's kind of, you don't see people. So it's different than giving a talk. So I appreciate remember that, like, next time you're on, the interaction really does help the speaker to know that people are out there. So thank you for that. And it's always great to do stuff with you guys at Recruit CRM.
Thank you so much, Diane. We have to thank our audience as well, like you said, for being so engaged throughout. Thank you again, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon again at the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Diane.